Hello everyone, my name is Havian and today I'm going to be showing you Dragon Quest Heroes. To help you decide if this is a game that you should play. But just keep in mind this is coming from the perspective of someone that does not speak fluent Japanese, so some things may be lost in translation. So, what is Dragon Quest Heroes? This is a Muso game, or it's a game in a Dynasty Warriors style. They did say that it was not going to be a game like that, but it is. As much as they say it's not, it is. But it does have its own unique things going for it. At its core, it is a Muso game, but it does have some pretty unique things. Just like any other Dragon Quest game, you'll have your protagonist to start off with, and you can choose their name. And it's the same inside of this game, but you can pick between two different protagonists. You can either choose the male or female, but you will have to stick with that character throughout the game. You can control the other characters during combat, but throughout the game, that protagonist you choose will always be in the party. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the game and show you what it's all about. First, I'm gonna show you around the airship, which is the main hub of the game for the most part. At the beginning of the game, you start off in a little camp on the ground, but as the game progresses, this becomes your main hub, and this is where you will be when you're not out on missions or doing quests. So the game flow of this, it's a mission and lobby style game. So you'll start off in a lobby, you'll go to a quest counter, you'll pick a mission, you'll head out, you'll do the mission, and you head back here to equip your character with new gear and to upgrade them. So I'm going to take you around this lobby, show you what's inside of here. But before that, I'm going to show you the skill point system. When you level up in this game, you will gain new skill points that you can use to allocate to your character's different skills. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you one of the characters. You can do this to every single one of your characters. This is my main protagonist. I picked the male one, and this is him. You can actually allocate the skills to every single one of the characters you get on your team. I'm roughly about 17 or so hours into this game. So these are the characters I've unlocked at the moment. I haven't been allocating points to every single one of them because I haven't been using every single one of them, and I've just got a few of them. So you'll see that some of the characters will have more skills and some of the characters will be higher level than some of the other ones. So here we go, these are different skills. All of the different skills are going to have their own different costs as well. And for the most part, this section will be identical across all of the characters and this section. But it seems like this section up here and this section down here, they're going to be different because the different characters are going to have different skills, obviously. But what I don't like about this section is the fact that you only get 3 skills or 3 attacking skills throughout the game for each of the characters. It would have been nice if you would have got more skills than these and you could have allocated them to the right slots, and you could have customized your character a bit more. So you would have, let's say you had like 6 different skills. You could allocate 3 of those skills into the slots, the ones that you preferred or the ones that you like the most. But for now, it looks like they've only given you 3. But those different 3 skills can be increased in level, so I'm going to pick her next tier for that skill. And when you unlock certain tiers, more will unlock. So if I was to unlock a few of these skills, then more ones at the bottom would unlock. If I was to unlock a few of these, more skills would unlock in certain different areas of the board. But yeah, this is my only gripe about the skill system. It doesn't really matter because the skills they've given you are really effective and they work for a variety of situations. I'll show you that when I actually get into combat. But those are the skills. That is the skill system. You can equip your gear from this menu as well. So you got your equipment here. You can equip them depending on the character. Some of them will have an offhand weapon. Some of them will only have a main hand. But you have your defensive equipment and you have accessories. Accessories are going to be the only bits of equipment in this game that you can craft. When you kill enemies, you'll get materials, and you can use those materials to create accessories. Or you can use those materials that you gather to hand in for quests. But you can download some cosmetic equipment as well. So I've got the outfit from Dragon Quest III, the Heroes outfit from Dragon Quest III. This was like a free DLC, so I got that when the game was released. Well, I'm just sticking with this one because it looks cooler. But accessories, you can have up to 3 of them. They can be increased in power, and you can create your own ones. But I'll show you that in a second. So I'm gonna start off from here and go around. Or maybe I should start from the other side and go around. Maybe this side. Maybe I'll start from here. This area here, this lady has, you could say, achievements. When you complete certain objectives throughout the game, you'll unlock certain things. And once you've fulfilled the objective, you can hand it in, and then you'll get a few medals that you can spend over at the medal master or the medal guy. I'll show you that guy in a second. He's probably going to be the last on the people I'll go around to. But you will get rewards for completing certain objectives. From the looks of it, it's for killing certain enemies at the moment. But you have another one that you can complete by killing a certain number of enemies. So each time you hit some sort of threshold for the amount of enemies killed, you'll get a medal. So it looks like for this guy, I've got three medals because I've killed 300 enemies, or 300 of this type. So I'm gonna go ahead and collect my reward. Let's see, who else? So I can collect all of these ones. I've collected a few of the other ones, but I'll leave the other ones until later. I'll wait until I've completely filled those ones out before I collect them. Then we can speak to this lady here. She's the one that hands you quests. There are a few quests that you have that I've got at the moment. I've got a few quests on my character at the moment. I have 8. You can only have a maximum of 8. Well, right now I can only have a maximum of 8. I don't know if that will change as I get further into the game, but for now I have a maximum of 8 I can carry. But these are different quests. Some of these quests will just require you to collect certain items. Some of them will require you to kill a certain amount of enemies, and some of them will have their own quests that you have to complete. They're not quests that are usually on the field. They're only quests that appear when you have the quest in hand. When I say that's probably confusing. There are some quests that trigger missions. I should probably put it that way. You can only do those missions when you have the quest in your hand. There we go. That makes more sense. But I'll actually show you what I mean about that. There are different kinds of missions you can actually do out on the field, but I'll get into that when I go to the mission screen. Now to go down here, this is the tavern. This is where you'll go to actually form your parties and select the characters you actually want to be in your party. You can only have 4 people at a time, but you can only pick 3 of them because your protagonist will always be in the party. So I've kept these 3. I like the way they play, so I've got a good range of attacks. I keep her for a few magical attacks. I keep her because I like the way she punches and kicks. And I've got her because I like her bow. They're all, at the moment, all of the characters are actually pretty good. They're all unique and they all have their own playstyle, and I like them at the moment. It looks like there's a few more spaces for where some other characters can be, but for now, at this point in the story, I've only unlocked these guys, but it's still a pretty wide range of characters. I'm not going to change the party because I'm going to stick with these guys for now. You can talk to them as well and have a little conversation, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, next counter. This is where you'll go to buy your armor equipment or defense orbs. You can buy them per character, but you can't. From what I've seen so far, you can't enhance them. Weapons and armor, it seems like when you buy them, they're just as they are. The accessories you can enhance, and you can fuse them together, but with your weapons and armor, it looks like it's just this. You buy it, you slot it in, and no fuss. But to be honest, I prefer it that way for a game like this, because with the character roster, it will get pretty annoying trying to equip every single one of them if you had to craft every single one of them weapons and armor. I'd rather just be accessories, because the accessories can at least slot around to different characters. The weapons and armor, with the weapons, are exclusive to certain characters. Only certain characters can use certain weapons. But there are going to be a few characters that do cross over. So there's 3 characters that can use swords, but there will still be swords that are exclusive to certain characters that others can't use. But there will be some swords that all of them can use, if that makes sense. But for the other weapons, so far it seems like there's only 1 character for each, but there's 3 characters that can use swords at the moment and 3 that can use shields. But I like the fact that you can just flat out buy the weapons. They do get pretty costly, but I would rather not have to do with the crafting stuff. But you don't get the best weapons from here. From what I've seen so far, the medal guy has some of the more unique weapons. Maybe as you progress further into the game, you'll start getting some more unique ones, but for now, the weapons you get from this guy, from the weapon shop, are pretty basic. You can sell your items to him as well if you want to, or sell your old weapons, but I'm not gonna do that. This lady gives you all your mail, so sometimes you'll get letters from the other characters or letters with gifts inside of them. She'll be the one that gives them to you. This is the church. In the previous games, you'll go here if your characters died, but you don't actually do that in this one. If your characters die on the field, you can bring them back to life, but you have a set amount of times you can bring them back. I think at the moment it's 4 for my characters, but you can find more items within the missions that can bring them back to life. So let's go ahead and see what you can do. So you can save at this lady. You can save your game. The game does have auto saves, so you don't have to keep saving here. I'd only recommend saving at this point if you need to turn the game off. And you can replenish your healing items. You do have a set amount of times you can heal your characters in the field, and once you've used those items, you have to come back here and replenish them. At the moment, I can only do it 3 times. But as I progress, I guess I'll be able to increase the amount I can do. I can see some empty slots. I reckon these are more for emergencies, because you can heal on the field if you pick up certain items on the floor after you've killed enemies, but there are no dedicated healing characters. So you're going to have to rely on those, or you're going to have to rely on these. Those or these. You're going to have to rely on the items that drop from enemies or these crystals. And you can reallocate your skill points here as well. So if you don't like the build you've created, you can reset your skill points and give it another try. Thanks, lady. And this is where you'll go to create your accessories. Accessories are pretty easy to make. Some of them, I want to see if I can find, there's one item that I wanted to show you guys. Because there are different tiers to, or not different tiers, but there are different success rates for each item. So here we go. So you got this item, it's the same item, but you'll have, the lower you go on the list, the higher the chance for a higher quality version of it. But at the same time, the rate of success for crafting the item goes lower. I haven't actually failed a craft yet. I can't craft anything, I don't have enough materials, but I haven't failed anything yet. But I attempted this one, it had like a 20% chance to actually succeed or something low like that, and it still worked. So I've got this item equipped. And when you synthesize the ones with a lower success rate, you do have a much bigger chance of getting something good. So I got one of these items with extra bonus attached to it, and it was like +1. So you can create some pretty decent items. If you don't want to risk it, you can just go for the safe bet. But I reckon with some of the later bits of equipment, if you want to get the best stuff, you're going to be probably using this to synthesize the high quality versions. You can fuse 2 different bits of equipment together, or 2 different accessories together to form a brand new one, or to enhance it. So at the moment, I've got this one that I've fused before. That's why it's +2. So I fused it with another ring that was the same type, and it gave me the bonuses from both of them. So you can see that on the left hand side of the screen. So I've got the HP bonus, and I'm not even sure what the other one was. I'll check it out later. But I've got 2 bonuses on this one. I've got that one stamped on my pro tag. He's got that item. I always give all the good items to the protagonist, because he's meant to be me, I guess. Then you got the medal guy. I kept mentioning the medal guy, but he's the guy you'll go to when you collected quite a few medals. And you can buy some pretty nice stuff from him. He's got more of the more unique weapons and armor. The weapons that you get from him have extra beneficial stats attached to them, rather than just being the plain ones that you'd usually get from the weapon shop. So this is where you'll go to get some of your unique gear. For the armor, it seems like it's the same for the armor as well. They'll have extra special bonuses attached to them, but they are pretty expensive. I've only got like 30 medals, and these are costing from 35 to 70. These ones are costing from 50 to 80. Yeah, they are pretty expensive. You can buy some materials as well if you don't feel like going out into the field and finding them. And you can buy some recipes for new accessories, I believe. Okay, so that is pretty much everything inside of this lobby. You're gonna come here when you're finished with missions, and you're going to spend all of your time in here to upgrade your characters before you head out again. So I'm gonna go ahead and start a new mission and show you what the missions in this game are all about. This is where you go to start a mission, and I'm gonna show you that right now. Alright, so this is the world map. So I'm gonna zoom out a second. This is the world map. You're gonna go here once you are ready to go on a quest. The game, this game it's a bit weird. It is similar to some of the other Muso games or Dynasty Warriors games, but it has, when I say it's got its own flavor, it's because it's got certain missions that focus more on your usual hunting style game, like Monster Hunter or Tokiden. But at the same time, it has certain missions that focus more on the Dynasty Warriors style. The Dynasty Warriors style missions, they are unique in this game. It feels a lot like you're playing a MOBA rather than playing your usual Dynasty Warriors game. But I'll show you exactly what I mean with that. But those missions only seem to happen when you have a quest that you've collected from inside of the lobby, or if you have a story mission. If you're just going onto the map and you're doing one of the free missions, these ones are pretty boring. The only reason you'll do these missions is to collect materials or to grind your way up. It seems like in the free missions, you just go into the fields and you just kill lots of enemies. That's it. There's no objectives within the mission. The missions that you do seem to find objectives in are going to be your quest missions and the story missions. So I'm going to show you a quest mission, and I'm going to show you one of the boss missions. Boss missions are fun, and so are the story missions and quest missions. So I'll show you those ones. Those are the interesting ones. But you can go to different locations as you progress through the game and unlock certain areas of the map. And each of those different areas is pretty much going to be the same, but it's just going to be different. Gameplay wise, it's going to be the same, but it's just going to be different arenas or different areas to fight in. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it in the desert area. And I want to show you what I mean about it feels a little bit like a MOBA, even though it's not. I'm not really a fan of MOBAs, but you'll kind of see what I mean. Because rather than the enemy having a base like the other Dynasty Warriors games, you have to destroy portals. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to explain the mechanics of this mode while trying to stay alive and defend my base. So, in this mode, you've got a base. Only you have a base. The enemy, at this point in the game, the enemies do not have bases, but they do have portals that the enemies do actually come out of. Your main objective is to, not fall asleep. But you've got to destroy the enemy's base, or not base, but enemies' portals before too many enemies come through the portals and destroy your base. So it's a race against the clock to actually get rid of the enemy base or the enemy portals, but at the same time you want to pay attention to your base so you don't get overrun. So I've got to keep an eye on my base all the time on the map, and at the same time I've got to make sure that I can destroy these portals in time. Okay, so that is the portal captain down. So I'm going to ignore these guys and I'm going to try and head over to the next portal without falling asleep. I can see some enemies are starting to overrun my base. So that is pretty much the main flow of the story missions and the quest missions. The free missions don't follow this format. The free missions, they've got their own thing going. Free missions generally, ooh, this is how I want to be. With the free missions, you just go in there and you kill as many enemies as you can. But in these modes, they're more strategic. You need to think about what you're doing. Things are not looking good for the base. But the good thing about the game is you can use enemies to your advantage. So I've got this guy that's asleep at the moment. If I can kill him, hopefully he will drop a monster coin. If he drops a monster coin, then I can use that monster coin to summon him and use him to defend my base, or use him to do certain things in different locations. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use him to defend my base if he drops a coin. Okay, I'm gonna grab his coin. I'm gonna use him to block an entrance. So enemies are coming out from here. I'm gonna set him up here. He's gonna fight the enemies that come through the entrance. So I can lay one down to defend my base if I want to, but I'd need to get another one. And there's a coin right there, delicious. So I'm gonna put this guy here. What I want to do is I want to slow down the flow of the enemies from reaching my base. I haven't really explained how the skills in this game work, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You do combos with square and triangle. You can chain your light attacks into heavy attacks. And then you can chain those attacks into your special attacks that are on the face buttons if you hold down R1. So I've only destroyed one base at the moment, or one portal at the moment. But what I can do is I can either destroy the other portals, or I can just try and see if I can outlast the enemies, which is something that I probably can't do. So it's not wise to try to do that. So I'm going to set up another one of these here. And I'm going to try my best to... While it's distracted... Oh man, too many enemies are over there. gosh. There are way too many enemies. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up my tension. Tension is the pink bar that you see next to my HP. If I can get that full enough, I can do my special attack and I can wipe out a large group of enemies. So it's almost full. So if you played some of the other games, you'll see that mode is in those games as well. So I can actually activate it now. When I'm in this form, I'm invincible and I've got unlimited MP. So I can just keep spamming attacks. So I'm going to use this to keep the enemies away as much as I can. And then I'm going to use my special to actually see if I can kill as many enemies as possible. Then I'll run over and try and destroy another portal. So this is similar to the Dynasty Warriors games, but it's got its own flair going for it. And you can see exactly what I mean with all the different gameplay systems that they put in there. Okay, so I'm gonna lay this guy down here. I'm gonna summon another monster. There's two different types of monsters you can summon. You can summon ones that assist you, and you can summon ones that defend. So the assisting ones give you things like your HP back, or give you your MP back. And then you've got the assisting ones that do things, or you got the defending ones that just stand on the battlefield and fight alongside you. Okay, so now I need to teleport back to my base. The protagonist is the only character that can teleport back, so you need to be controlling him to teleport back. But if you've unlocked the teleport locations, you can jump from one place to another. It looks like my base is probably going to be destroyed. This is a higher level quest, but at least it will give you an idea of how the quests actually flow, or how the game actually flows. Might fail this, but at least you get to see. And then after this one, I reckon I'll do a... Oh man. So those ones are more of the... That green guy is one of the stronger boss enemies that come out of the portals. And they hit hard. Let's try it. I'm going to try my best to keep him pinned down. One more hit in that, and my base is gone. There we go. It's over. It's over. But yeah, this is one of the higher level quests. I'm gonna retry it. Actually, no. I'm not gonna retry this. I'm gonna exit, and I'm gonna show you the other style of quests you can do. So you've got the gist of what how the game actually flows, and it can be pretty difficult if you allow yourself to get overrun. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the other types of missions you can do. Okay, so these missions are more of the boss type missions. So these are going to feel more like your traditional action RPGs rather than a Dynasty Warriors style game. So you've got two enemies on the field. One of these, you've got two bosses on the field. So you've got one giant boss that actually hits pretty hard. Then you've got two cannons on the field as well. You can use these cannons to actually attack the bosses. But one of the bosses are constantly healing the other, so you got to make sure you destroy one of the bosses first, or the boss that heals the other boss first. So the bird boss is healing the giant, so you have to make sure you kill the bird before you kill the giant. So even though I'm dealing pretty heavy damage to the boss, you can see his HP starting to go back up. That is because the bird is spam healing him. But the annoying thing about this bird is he puts a buff over himself that stops your damage from actually hitting him. So you constantly miss once he's got that buff up. And then at that point, the golem decides he wants to try and attack you. He uses that opportunity to get some hits on you. Like that. Ooh, damn, that's half my HP gone from one hit. But what I can do is jump inside of this cannon and try to attack one of them. So I'm gonna aim for the bird. I want to get the bird down as fast as possible. But now he's dodging all of the hits. Inside of some of the crates you'll find healing items, and in some of the other crates you're going to find health items, or you're going to find some that fully restore your attention. Okay, now he's trying to heal. And there's quite a few different fights just like this one within the game. This is just one of the fights you find earlier on in the game. And they are pretty smart. They've got... I can understand why they said this wasn't going to be a Musou game. Because it's not really the same. but it does blend Musou style gameplay in with your typical action RPG games. You can see it looks like I'm stopping and standing still for every now and then, but you can actually block in this game. So I've been trying to block all the enemies' attacks. So with these game modes, this game with the previous game modes where it was kind of like defending your base, that one is all about how fast you react to certain situations and the amount of planning you take and the amount of upgrading you've done to your characters before you try to take those missions on. But these missions are all about attacking the right enemies at the right time, blocking their attacks, and doing things you'd usually expect of an action RPG or even a hunting game, you could say. Okay, so now that enemy's down, now I can focus on the giant goblin. So I'm gonna head over to this and then pop him with a few shots. Alright, so now he's walking over to me. He will actually start focusing on the person that's doing the most damage to him. Okay, now that he's stunned, my damage will start doing more. My attacks will do more damage to him. Alright, I need to get out of there. Okay, so he's debuffed me. So now I do a lot less damage. But while this is all going on, you'll still have enemies and mini-bosses spawning all around you. So things are still pretty hectic. Out of both of the game modes, I prefer these missions more, to be honest. I still like the other ones, but I just find these missions more hectic and they're more controlled. It seems like you have a pretty clear-cut objective when you're doing these kind of missions, whereas the other ones, even though you know what you're meant to do, is just to destroy the portals, sometimes things can get pretty messy, as you saw before. But I'll head back. I'll do that mission later. I'll head back and finish it. Alright, let me switch to another character. So you can switch between the different characters in the field, because different enemies are going to react better with different characters doing moves. Or certain characters are going to be better for certain situations. There we go. Jessica done a little heal, but that drained a lot of my MP. So that looks like one of the new skills I just learnt for her. She couldn't do any healing skills before, and I had to rely on. Let me show you. If you push R1, you'll see the little healing stones on the bottom of the screen. If you use one of them, it'll heal everyone's HP in the party. It looks like Jessica's got one as well, but I don't know if that one works for every character in the party, or if it is just going to be for her. Should have paid more attention. Okay, now I'm starting to get overrun. I'm going to end this. Okay, so now they've dropped a monster coin. I can use that coin to help me finish this fight. Even though I don't really need to, I can just focus on the boss now. Okay, that's this mission done. So once the fight's over, usually you'll get a treasure chest at the end of these missions as a reward. Then you just open the treasure chest and you get your loot. I do actually prefer these missions because of that, because you get a nice little loot chest at the end of it. The other missions, you don't really get that. Once you finish the mission, then you're done and you hand in the quest. But at the same time, those kind of missions are only exclusive to the quests and the story missions. So you don't really get those wave type missions if you're just doing free missions or the missions that you can select in the field. This is a mission that you can repeat. Those other missions are not repeatable, the one that I've done before. So there we go. Now I can at least explain the attacks now that this mission's over. You got your light attacks, then you've got your heavy attacks, so you can chain into your light ones. So I've got light, then heavy, then light, light, heavy, then light, 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 heavy. And you can continue the chains and you can just weave it into a totally different combo. And then you can mix those into your special moves that you got as well. So So you got some skills that once you've leveled them up, you can charge them even higher, and they do more damage. And then you've got your tension bar, which is the bar I spoke about before. If you push circle, you go into tension. Your attacks are faster, and you run a lot quicker as well. And you do more damage, and you can just spam your attacks as many times as you want without running out of MP. And then once you're done, you do your special attack. But there you go, this is pretty much how the game actually plays. And I can say that right now I'm enjoying it, and I would recommend anyone play it. They have announced that it is coming over to the West. So anyone that doesn't want to import the game can wait until that version actually comes over. It is going to be coming out in 2015, so this year, as of recording. So I would say pick it up. It is a fun game. I'm sure you guys are wondering, what is in the treasure chest? I will open the treasure chest so you can see what's inside. Take a look at this good loot. But yeah, this is a fun game. It's a fun game. I'm hoping that there are going to be much more quests like this as I get further into the game. But only time will tell. I will let you guys know with more videos if that happens. Let me open the chest, show you what's inside. It's probably going to be just a material. Yep. But there you go, Dragon Quest Heroes. It's worth a play. But until I make the rest of the videos about this game, I will see you all later.